Winter Solstice Festival is here. Let's talk about this event. Remember, if this guide has helped you out, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you've never played this event before, I suggest taking a jaunt through any map with worthy monsters first. A single run anywhere will furnish you with plenty of sugar beets, which you'll need for two main purposes: acquiring snow essences from snowmen on specific maps, and entry into the Winter Summit map itself. With regards to farming snow essences, I have put a link in the description to a series of maps that have snowmen and where to find them. I typically suggest picking a map with low-level mobs so you can travel on your mount with no danger of being knocked off and pick up the essences quickly. Fear not, if you don't want to farm sugar beets and snow essences, they are just a click away for some Endermans. Now that you're equipped, head to King's Hill, where you'll pick up some quests from Queen Antonia and Festos. Before you dive into the Winter Summit, don't forget to visit the Solstice Cave. You'll want to come here every day and defeat the Sentinel. Once you've defeated him, you'll have access to a Winter Solstice present with a small reward. You can come here for one reward once a day. Back to King's Hill now, you can access the Winter Summit for a paltry amount of 10 sugar beets, and, should you choose to go to Bloodshed difficulty, some fragments of Infernal Passage. Keep in mind, there are 6 progress bars for this entire event, and the higher the difficulty you're able to play, the more progress you'll get. As for those of you who reminded me there are Piggies on event maps last time, there are Piggies in Winter Summit too. While they only give a small amount of progress per click, if you want to cut down on how many runs you need to do, perhaps consider spending a bit of time searching for them. Within this map, the most frequent source of trouble comes from the never-ending tests, also known as the shooting heads. If you run into trouble with these, I will make a few suggestions. 1. Play with people of a similar level in a level of difficulty you can handle, rather than asking to be carried. The damage the shooting heads deal scales depending on the player and difficulty chosen. 2. Equip defensive equipment, especially that with block. 3. Cross over each missile one at a time rather than rushing through mindlessly. You'll receive different colored presents as you clear the map. These will be needed for some quests, but you can also open them for some small gifts such as equipment, sugar beets, and snow essences. On this point, the only thing I'm going to say is that equipment scales to the player's level at the time of opening. So, if you're well equipped for now, why not keep some for later? You'll also find some Festive Amphorae scattered around the map. These give some coins, some drakens, some progress, and some presents. I typically skip opening them. There are also neat Amphorae, which are not marked on the map. These are free to open. Finally, at the end of the map, you'll encounter Big Paws. Remember to equip and use your snow essence, otherwise you won't be able to damage him. Keep in mind he is an ice elemental and weak to fire elemental skills. His basic attack is a melee swipe from which you can easily dodge. He also has a movement skill similar to the Ranger's Blade Dance, and lastly he has a skill where he winds up and causes a wintry blast to go out in a straight line. However, he shares his space with 2 never-ending tests that can swivel and shoot. I typically suggest moving Big Paws towards the bottom of the map to minimize damage from these 2 shooting heads. Once you've defeated Big Paws, a secret lair with 8 platforms will open. There are 2 possible types of secret lairs, the ice and the combat one. There appears to be nothing special in these secret lairs, so unless you want a ton of sugar beets, maybe skip doing them. In addition to that, there are also a number of vending machines at the end of the map. 4 of them have fixed rewards for a specified price and can only be opened once, and 1 of them gives a random prize and can be opened once per run as long as you have 5 Phestos Coins on hand. For the love of all things holy, do not open the vending machine that gives sugar beets. A casual run anywhere will easily load you down with 100 sugar beets. As for the others, those are up to you. But, in order to make sure you are making an informed decision, there is a Festive Winter Solstice present, aka the big present in King's Hill, that can only be opened with 1500 Phestos Coins. So, you might want to keep your coins for something better. Phestos Coins can be obtained from Jesse O'Barker, literally the worst idea, a small quantity from the event progress bar, quests, but mainly from killing Kranparus in the challenge events. Speaking of progress bar rewards, there is a new item called Winter Solstice Breeze. This item is stored in your special bag and can be used on the workbench to make concentrated solstice runes. If your next question is if it's worth making, the answer is yes. It allows you to combine 3 runes into one without any stat loss. There are many cosmetic items to collect with this event. Most can simply be obtained from the event progress, but there are 2 that are not. The Musov mount can only be obtained from a quest from inside Winter Summit, and the Winter Gnome needs to be crafted from parts that drop from Big Paws and 1 piece from the challenge event. Speaking of the challenge events, there will be 3 of them called Kranparus Terror. The structure of each challenge is the same, only the details such as the rewards and the shape of the map differ. From Winter Summit, you'll traverse down a different path to reach Kranparus' lair. Please note, the challenge event can only be played in the difficulty Painful and above. Even if you enter Winter Summit in normal difficulty, you cannot play this challenge in normal mode. When you enter Kranparus' lair, you'll enter during the daytime. Weave your way through the shooting heads and monsters, making sure to stop at each warmly lit platform to dispel the frozen hatred debuff that would otherwise kill you. If you're stuck midway between these warm platforms, you can activate a fire cage on the cold zones using a solstice log, which will temporarily dispel the frozen hatred. You are not required to light the fire cages, and frankly, I'd suggest not wasting your resources on it, except in case of an emergency. At the end of the map, you'll encounter Kranparus. In a nutshell, his skills are a recycled version of Sigurdsmar, with ice missile basic attacks, a homing frost orb, and a big frost explosion. Keep in mind his weakness is to fire skills. He has a chance of dropping the Kranparus treasure set and Phestos Coins upon death. Once you've defeated him, the map will plunge into darkness and his minions will attempt to blockade your path. Once you pass through the barrier at the entranceway, a timer will start to count down. Your goal is to rescue the children inside the cages before the timer runs out. As thanks, you'll get a small present and some event progress. Once you're done rescuing all the children, there is a doorway to a secret lair near the entryway. This is just a regular event secret lair with 8 platforms. You can't get any event progress from it, so only go there if you want clovers. In the meantime, if you have advice for other players that wasn't included in this video, leave it in the comments below. Stay warm and have a happy holidays, everyone.